Hey everybody, it's Jackie with Jackie's Recent Things. Today I'm going to show you how I made a whimsical poinsettia out of felt and fabric. First thing that you're going to need what's called crafter's fuse. Some people call it stable. You can get this at Hobby Lobby, Joann's, Walmart. You want one that's not too stiff, probably what they would call a medium type of fusing. You're going to need to iron this on your fabric. Once you iron it on your fabric, I created a template, and I created my template. It's about 6 inches wide, and it's about 11 inches tall for my flower petals. You're then going to take and draw on. Be very picky when it's a pattern. So I'm going to line it up really good. I'm going to trace around it. And then I'm going to cut my petal and my backing at the same time. Because the nice thing is felt will stick to just about anything and hang on, so I don't have to pin it. The fusing is nice. It's going to serve two purposes. One, it's going to make this easier to trace and cut out, but we also need the stiffness for the petal. So once you get done, you're going to need 16 total petals, however you want to do them. You're going to need to put wire on, because I chose to make the petal bendable. This is 18 gauge wire that I used, and I'm going to cut it about 10 inches. Once I cut it, I'm going to get my hot glue gun out, and I'm going to go straight down the center. And I'm going to add the wire. Now the fabric will kind of roll up with the wire, and that's okay. Once that cools down, you'll kind of straighten this out a bit. So now I'm going to attach the felt. I'm going just to the inside. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just don't want the hot glue to leak out all over my table. So what I did is I decided to trim mine out. I had this really fuzzy yarn that I thought would be really cool. So once again, I'm just going to go just around the outside edge. I'm just going to cut that off. So that's how we're going to make our petals. You can make yours any way that you want to. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the center of the flower. I took and I cut a styrofoam ball in half. And I'm going to use my yarn again. I'm going to start in the center. Always when you're working with styrofoam, put your hot glue gun on low temp, because otherwise you will melt the styrofoam. And then just start spinning it around. Now, once again, you can use whatever you want to for a center. I just did this because it will blend in really well with the edging that I chose. This yarn is pretty inexpensive for everything that you can do with it. this styrofoam ball, it's about 8-inch. You can use beads and all kinds of things to cover these styrofoam balls for flower centers. My inspiration for this project was the large, the whimsical poinsettia picks that you can purchase. So because that yarn's so thick, I cut it on an angle so you won't really see the end part sticking out. So now we have our flower center and we have our flower petals. Next thing you're going to need is you're going to need the small flower board from Unique in the Creek. You're going to use the second row and this row, zip tie in each. You're going to take your petal and you're just going to scrunch it up. And place it in the zip tie. You want to be consistent about how much you put in the bottom of the zip tie. Kind of looks like bunny ears when you first start. Now you can do this on a small wire frame gotten to where I really like the Unique and the Creek boards for projects like this because you can just cut the stuff off and reuse the board. Isn't that looking pretty? All right. Now we got the outside. Now let's do the inside. And it really doesn't take that long to do it once you get into the rhythm because it's only 16 petals. You can add leaves to it if you want to. I just chose not to for mine. Last one. All right. Now we're going to go back and cut the zip ties off. And then we're going to pull these apart and fan them out. And you can really shape them if you want to because of the wire in there. I just chose to use the wire for two purposes. One, if you wanted to shape it, and added stability. Because, I mean, it is fabric. If it gets wet, it's going to droop. And that wire is going to stop that from happening. So now we're ready to add our center of our flower in. Pretty easy. Just going to take a couple of pipe cleaners. Going to kind of look and see where the holes are there. Now I'm just going to take my ice pick and I'm going to poke a hole. Put some hot glue down in that hole. That one wasn't quite cooled off. And there you have it. This is my version of the poinsettia. I'm loving this, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this tutorial. This one was awesome. Bye, y'all.